Alright guys, so today I'm having a problem with the wiper switch. Wipers aren't quite working and they're so random, so the switch is bad. I've never been able to get the washers to work. So what I'm going to do is replace the switch and all the wiring down the column. And while I'm in here, I'll change the turn signal switch. Yeah, I've got all that. So I've got the new switch here. There's a part number from LMC. I couldn't get all these parts from the same place, but that's the new wiper arm. And then this is the turn signal switch, an AC Delco. That comes with that guy there. We need to make sure it's the same. And then I have here the wiper switch. So that's what this little guide is the wiper switch twists. So, and that is the part number there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the steering wheel off. I wanted to put another steering wheel on it anyways. This one's kind of seen better days, but we'll get going on that. So basically pop that thing off, and it looks like there's some Torx here. So you can kind of look here, there's some Torx for the horn. So that's basically what that does, and then the nut to remove the steering wheel. So I'm going to first remove these Torx, then this clip here. So I'll basically, so when this guy comes off just like that, the ring comes off just like so. This guy just popped out of the hole there, so that's the horn button. We'll just set all this back here, and then there's the spring. There's the little copper spring. And then you have that. So then this is where you get your snap ring pliers, and you basically, oh, it goes shooting off. So there's the snap ring, well, a version of a snap ring. Then what we're going to do is, that is a 13/16, and I got my impact. Get that guy up there. And then at this point, you can put the steering wheel puller on. And so this is a kit. I'll post the kit and I'll show you some pictures of the kit in a minute. So I don't have the whole kit in here. So I am just going to screw one of these in this hole. And then the other one's going to go in that hole there. So try to get the bolt in as far as you can. You don't want to, you basically don't want to run out of threads and pull the threads out, because that's happened a few times with me. And you're just going to slowly tighten it up. Just like that. Just pops off. So now what we're going to do is push on this here. So I've got another part that comes in that steering wheel puller kit, and this is just going to screw over the top like so. Get it in a position where it's not going to affect anything, and then I grab a socket and we'll just slowly tighten this up, and this will push that in a little bit. It doesn't take a much, but here, look down here, there is a spring right here, and that guy just needs to pop right out of there. So it's going to take two hands to do this. Okay. See, I got the ring up here. I'm just going to remove it off of here. So I'll just kind of hold this together while we take this off. way. Just got too fat of fingers. Stick one right there. And this guy's just gonna lift out of there like that. Kind of see the mechanism in there. So set that up here. And this guy is the horn button, the contactors for the horn. So that's what slides down in there. And then you got your mechanism for your turn signal here. And then you got, I'm going to tighten this up while I'm in here. So take our Phillips, take the hazard switch off, and then we'll take screw off here. Before we get too crazy, let's just verify and make sure this looks the same. Looks to be the same, and that controls this guy. Will just slide right out of there, but I may need to get down toward the bottom of the dash and disconnect the harness. So I didn't do that yet. Take that spring out of the way. So now I'm going to take the bottom portion of the dash apart here, so get to the bottom of the column, so I can get the harness and pull the pins out, and then I can pull this out of the column. So, which will be fun because of the tilt. So, and see the wires there. I'm just going to take the panel off, these 4 screws here. Then take these 3 out and then take the vent out. I just wanted to show you where I was at right now. We'll get that going. I've got Torx here. I'm just going to do right through here. You can kind of see down in there, there is a little Allen screw. And this removes the ignition switch. Well, it's a Torx screw, not an Allen. And there's that screw out of there. Set it up there. Now this should just pull right out of there like so. So looks pretty good. We'll just add a little bit of loop to it before we put it back in, but super cool. Okay, so we got that out. Still got a ton of play in this thing. I think before I started doing these screws here, I need to disconnect the wiring for this so that I can pull this out a little further. So let me go down here and we'll start undoing some of the wires. All right, so I'm just going to do a couple of these bolts here just so I get some space in here. But now this guy will come right out just like so. We're going to take these 3 bolts out here, and bear with me, this is my first time taking apart a column with the wiper switch in it, so but it should be the same, right? But there's some bolts back in here to tighten this thing up, so I'm hoping we can get those tight. So it's got some Loctite on there. So okay, so we got that out. Now let's take the rest of these out. So there's going to be some bearings here and some parts. So now I'm just going to lightly bring this guy up like this. I can access. Oh, let's just set that there. And some broken pieces in there. Well guys, so I kind of came up with an idea. I'm going to take this screw here and I'm going to weld it onto these nuts, and then these nuts are the same thread as my slide hammer, and that'll allow me to get those pins out of the column. So I'm going to hurry and just kind of make my own tool to pull this. I know you can buy a special tool for this, but I don't have one, and this was the easiest way to build something just that I had laying around in my garage. So I'm just going to kind of do this and see how she works. So stay tuned. All right, so guys, we need to fix this rock. You can buy a tool to pull these pins out here on the sides. You see these pins? There's one here and one here. I kind of made one out of a couple nuts and a threaded bolt. I had just a machine bolt I had laying around. I think it's like a something 32, the 32 thread. I think it's 7 or something. But I'll post that up here. But so what I basically have is I have this little tiny slide hammer I got from Harbor Freight a while ago to do some small little jobs, and found 2 nuts that were the same thread as this, and it just screws on just like so. So what I'm gonna do is use this slide hammer to knock these bolts out, and I think it should work. So we're just gonna screw this in like so. And then what I'm gonna do is just hold it and give it a little tap. There's one pin. Let's do the other one. Oh, wait one moment. I gotta take that spring out. Woo! We would have had a fun mess on our hands. We would have had a way fun mess. So, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, before you remove the pins, you need to take the spring out. So, take just a Phillips screwdriver. You're just gonna push it in and let it go, and you'll pull out the assembly here. Go right there, and the really greasy spring. Now you want to remember what way this goes in. I don't think it really matters, but just something to think about here. And I'm going to put this greasy spring on this dirty glove. So that takes care of that. So now there's the pin, come right out. Then this should just pull right out of here. Maybe it needs to be tilted back down, but I to be honest, I can't quite remember. Now you want to be very, very careful not to lose those bearings. I'm going to set it over here, just like so. And then this piece you can take out here. Just needs to sit right back in there again, but I think it'll actually stand there. So now you can see here, you look up into the column here, these 4 bolts here, there's 1, 2, there's 2 underneath here, and 1 right there. Those bolts are loose. So what I'm going to do is remove them out, put some Loctite on them, and then we'll reinstall, tighten them up and torque them. So yeah, that's why this thing's been kind of moving around, because of that. So but we'll get a socket on that. I got a 6-point, and we'll do that. All right, so put that guy on there, and they're loose, so they're coming right out. So all I'm going to do is take some red Loctite and stick it on the threads. I'm going to screw it right back in there. Now those will be fun to take out next time. The bottom one's just kind of, I knew that would pop out. So the bottom one wasn't even in. It was just sitting there. Crazy, huh? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and tighten these guys up. So now, that's night and day difference. Alright, I don't really have any other grease besides some bearing grease. I'm just going to use some of this. I think this will be very adequate. So that little locking mechanism and this little plastic thing had to go in before I could. There's like a little groove here, and now that I covered it with grease you can't see, but there was a little groove, and this mechanism that slid back and forth needed to be in that groove so that this can spin back and forth. So if you kind of see here, here's the ignition key, and see, oh, there's the groove right there. See this piece, you have to spring load it back. So I wanted to show you guys that. So we'll continue putting it together. So okay, got those pins back in. Now the next thing after getting those in, I need to put the spring back in. So let's tilt the steering wheel back up, and we'll stick this greasy spring back in here, just like so. And then I'm going to take this guy and my screwdriver. It's just going to go just like this. Lock in just like that. Alright, so I got the new one. I could have fixed this old one, but every time I bend these wires, they just break, see? It wasn't cheap, but I kind of was stuck because there's no way of salvaging this. I mean, I probably could have, but it would have not have lasted, so it was just worth changing it out. So I do have the new one. This is the correct part number for this truck without cruise control. And it even came with a new pin, so kind of cool. But this is the correct one. Wires aren't nearly as crispy, so that is a big plus. So then I just put the ignition in, slide the torque in, and we'll tighten it up. Just like that. And then this little guy slides in there. So what you do is you put the ring on first. A lot easier to do it first, then slip it on. Alright guys, so got this all working. Well, turn the key on, but the wipers work, the intermediates work now. Even the turn signals. I mean, we're in business here. So I'm gonna put this steering wheel on. Had this one laying around. The other one's kind of beat up, so I figure this one will look a little better. We'll see what this seems like on here. So, all right, there we go. We got that buttoned up. You guys hit subscribe if you like this video. leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Haven't done this style before, so I kind of ran into a few little hurdles, but yeah, it works though. Everything works. So cool, guys. Thank you.